big story is Cincinnati. Paul Feinbaum said this yesterday on our show about where he thought Cincy needed to finish to be ranked in these first rankings.
If they are at the number 4 position, I would be very concerned because I think they're going to move down. If they're number 2 or 3, then they can breathe a little bit easier. Their problem is the schedule.
Their problem is the schedule. Their problem is they only beat Navy by a touchdown. Greg McElroy joins us on the Goodyear Hotline now. Greg, welcome. Good morning. You heard Paul say he thought Cincy needed to be 3rd. They're 6th. What's the level of concern?
On a scale of 1 to 10, about a 9, but it should have always been a 9. There should have been no false sense of security, guys. Everyone that you looked at the AP poll and used that as a real legitimate source of where Cincy might end up when the College Football Playoff Committee released their rankings, that was obviously very inaccurate. It was misguided because Cincinnati, like I've said forever, and I'm sure like you guys, I've probably said it with you guys. I don't know. I mean, I've said it a million times. All I know is that there is absolutely nothing Cincinnati can do to get into the playoff. What needs to happen for Cincinnati is they need everything else in the Power 5 to completely fall apart. And that's very plausible, by the way. You need a 2-loss Big Ten champion. You need Georgia to beat Alabama, so Alabama has 2 losses. You need to have a 1-loss or a 2-loss Big 12 champion. You need to have chaos in the Power 5 for you to find your way in. And that, by the way, is very possible. Michigan and Michigan State just played a great game. Michigan State still has to play Ohio State, and Michigan State still has to play Penn State. So there's very real possibility that things blow up and Cincinnati finds their way in, but they've never been in control of their own destiny. They're always at the mercy of what happens in other conferences, and that's a very unsettling place to be.
Cincinnati is the highest non-Power 5 school in the history of the college football playoffs to be ranked this high. Let me ask you this, though, Greg. Why wouldn't the committee what are they afraid of, better yet, to move a team like Cincinnati in front of some of the others? What are they afraid of?
I don't think they're afraid of anything, Key. It's just about the fact that Cincinnati has 2 Power 5 wins, and the teams that they're being measured against have 6. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And the thing, too, I don't care. I mean, you play, Jay Will play, Max play. I mean, everyone's played sports before. A win's a win to me. Like, I'm not going to sit here and people saying last night, well, they barely beat Tulane, they barely beat Navy. No, that doesn't matter to me. Well, no, because Cincy's getting everybody's best shot. Like, I've seen Navy play close with a lot of good teams in the past. Like, I don't care about that. What I care about is the fact that the teams that they're beating aren't as good as the teams that Ohio State might be beating on a weekly basis, or the teams that Alabama might be beating on a weekly basis. The Power 5 is a clear step above, whether people want to acknowledge that or not. So I don't care about the style points that Cincinnati supposedly needs to create. What I want to see is them get into a Big 12 conference, which they're going to here in a couple years, and see them week in, week out have to play quality opponents that can legitimately beat them. Because right now they have to peak 2 or 3 times a year. And when you only have to peak 2 or 3 times a year, you're not necessarily getting the best strength of record or the strength of resume. So that's the problem. And that's why the big schools, the Power 5 schools, will always have the inside track when measured against a team like Cincinnati.
Greg McElroy, ESPN SEC analyst, joining us here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Greg, I have to ask you because, Alabama ranked 2nd in what came out last night. But what side are you on when you think about the college football playoffs? Do you think about, hey, who are the 4 most deserving teams or who are the 4 best teams? Because if I were to see Cincinnati go against Georgia, that point spread it would be like 24 or something like that. It would be that high. What side of the aisle are you on?
I'm more on the resume side. So, for instance, last night, I think Bama being 2, that was an eye test ranking. That was because everyone thinks that Bama is clearly the second best team. I happen to lie on the side of the resume. Team with the best win should be ranked number 2. And the team right now with the best win is Michigan State. They're at 3. Who cares? We're splitting hairs. What I think the committee did, though, is they prepared the college football world for a scenario where Alabama's in the SEC championship and they beat Georgia, that would obviously put Alabama in. They just put Alabama up there right now as kind of a hold serve, saying to Alabama, hey, you control your own destiny. You went out, you're in. You lose to Georgia, you're out. So that's essentially, I think, what they did last night. But I lean towards the side of kind of valuing the resume more so than the eye test, and that clearly is not something that the committee agrees with me on.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.